I don't know about everybody else, but my journal situation is just a mess right now. I work in a lot of different journals, but I'm not the most organized person. So what happens is I'll start out with all this intent, different types of intent, and different intent for different books. Like, oh, I'm going to use this Moleskine for collage journaling. And I'm going to use this medium format watercolor Moleskine for watercolor icons that I'm going to digitize into patterns and make them into pattern repeats. And I'm going to use this other vertical sketchbook format for observational sketches, and they're just going to get better and better and better as I use my book every day. And what always seems to happen is that the one type of work winds up somewhere else. Or what happens even more often than that, and especially once that happens once and breaks the integrity of all my intent, is that what happens even more often is I want to do some kind of drawing and I have all this result in mind, like this is going to be a page with flowers for icons that I can digitize and make into cards, and it's going to be really beautiful and they're going to be really commercial, and I'm just going to have an image like that on every single page of this book. And then when I fail at doing a good job of that, when I fail at having a good page, for whatever reason, every time I open up that book, especially if it's one of my good journals, I get discouraged and I close it up again. It's not an affront to my sense of organization or lack of it, which I know I've got. What it is an affront to is the fact that I broke my intent, that I couldn't stick with the plan. And then, after I get discouraged and I put the book down, this is the insidious part, right? I say to myself, oh, well, it's time for me to get a clean book. I mean, it's January, or it's spring, or it's fall, or it's a great time to get a fresh start. Get a good, clean book with nothing in it, and I can dedicate it to one thing and really focus, and this time nothing else will wind up in that journal and it'll be great. But I can't work into that old journal sitting there because it's ruined, because that page is bad, or that page doesn't thematically fit in with the rest of the book, so every time I open it, I just get this massive case of the sads and close it again. And what happens is, being a good consumer, right? Run out, get a whole new book. And these are not the cheap books, because if I'm going to bother, then I got to do it right. I have to get something I'm going to be stoked to work in every time I grab it, and it'll hold up in my purse, and all the reasons that I should have a good hardcover sketchbook. Inevitably, what happens is the whole process starts right up again, repeat, repeat, repeat. So it's good, I think, and it's more interesting in my experience as I change this habit to work with what you've got. Now, I've got an absurd amount of stuff. I'm not going to lie. It's taken me 2 decades to accumulate a lot of stuff. And I find that the less I throw out and the more garbage, really, that I stuff into the back envelope of that Moleskine journal, whether I wind up collaging the garbage into my work or whether just looking at some of the garbage suggests, like a prompt, the next thing that I should do, the next thing that I should draw, the next shape, whatever. The things that you need are probably things that you have. They're probably things you even have too much of. The things that you want to get out of your life, they might be there for a reason. So when I cover something up, I'm starting to even wonder if covering up is about hiding or, fresh starts, or negating the mistake that I made before. Or if it's just another way to use the things I have. And the biggest problem I often have is being afraid of losing something if I cover it up. And so by trying not to cover it up completely and trying to make sure that some of it shows, I find that I do wind up covering it completely in a way that I wouldn't if I just didn't think about it. And then it happens tentatively, so it shows that somehow I wasn't really committed to either covering it or keeping it. And I'm pretty sure, not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that there's something that I need to learn in there somewhere.